My name is Andi Boyd, and I am a writer and educator living here in Waco, Texas. Our school closed at the beginning of March, beginning my personal quarantine that eventually became city and then statewide quarantine. During that time, I spent a lot of time here, doing what I imagine many creative people were doing, berating myself for having the time to write, and yet not writing. Then, I found Graciela's images through our mutual friend and began writing towards them as a kind of ekphrastic response. One of the only places we were able to go locally was the large park in town, Cameron Park, and I came here every day, often with one of Graciela's images in mind, composing my stories amidst the trees, river, and less than occasional spider. There was something I was deeply connecting to in these walks and with her images, and I was finding the words to express the hope, loss, fear, and sometimes even anger in the events that spiraled outside of the 4 tiny walls of my apartment. As an educator, I often teach my students myth, folklore, and fable, and fairy tales because of the enduring quality of what is presented in those archetypes and in their amazing longevity. I realized I was finding the same in Graciela's images in my stories, a way to harken back to something that had survived for a long time and had something, most often, to say about perseverance, imagination, and creating. Some of those stories are painful, and some of my stories in the collection with Graciela are as well. But through this process, there was an act of creation in what felt like a time of destruction, a pittance perhaps, but something. In Brazil, I looked towards the many myths of disappearing or secret islands, such as the one that is the namesake of this image, High Brazil. The island I write is not necessarily a happy one. In fact, it is one that houses what is lost. But the hope that it might exist there means that there is a place for those things that are lost. In Storyteller, I was in awe of Graciela's work, and with it tried to identify that which makes stories endure, and the simple fact of their continuance of being told, good or bad, damning or redeeming.